Alright, so I kind of put off making this video today. Basically the reason I put it off is, well, there's two reasons. First of all, I had work, I had things to do. And second of all, every time I defend emulation, I just get the stupidest, bottom rungs of society flooding to my channel just to leave, the dumbest comments imaginable. But I realize, it's still engagement either way. And I got a day off, so why not just make this video and get it out of the way. So a few days ago, Nintendo hit Ryujinx, an emulator, the only other real popular Switch emulator other than YUZU, which they hit earlier this year. Basically, Nintendo wants all ways to emulate the Switch off of the internet, which at a certain level makes sense. It is Nintendo's current console on the market. I get why they don't want people playing games on PC through Switch emulators, but at the same time, Nintendo, your games perform like shit. It's gotten to the point where I am waiting for the Switch 2 to come out so I can play regular Nintendo Switch games through backwards compatibility and have a good time with them. I mean, I loved Tears of the Kingdom, I thought it was a great game. However, 20 FPS whenever you activate an ability is a literal fucking slideshow. So, emulation for me, I'd prefer to just buy the game so I can support the developer and then emulate that game so I can play it at good performance. And if I can't do that, I'd rather just not buy the game and buy something else. But of course, a lot of people on the internet right now are really mad at Nintendo for this because this is just a shitty thing to do. But everyone's favorite Harman Smith is defending this.
Dolphin tried to kill Nintendo. It failed.
Already starting off the video with misinformation, Dolphin was created so that you could play Nintendo GameCube and Wii games on your PC so you could use things like mods, texture packs, and better resolutions. You can go out legally buy a Wii game, dump it onto your computer, and play it through Dolphin and actually support Nintendo. Okay, so editor's note, it doesn't actually support Nintendo anymore because the games aren't being made anymore, and it only helps the reseller. Now, a lot of people are just gonna pirate, I'm not denying that, but that's not Dolphin's fault. They did not exist to kill Nintendo. They released so that people could play Nintendo games on a better platform.
YUZU tried to kill Nintendo. It failed.
YUZU did not try to fucking kill Nintendo, dude. They literally exist so that you could play your Switch games on PC. Once again, just like with Dolphin, you can legally go out and buy a Switch game, put it on your PC, and play it and still support Nintendo. Once again, I understand that a lot of people are just gonna pirate. But once again, just like the case with Dolphin, that is not YUZU's fault, and YUZU provides no way to pirate. It just provides a way to play the game, whether they're pirated games or legally obtained games. And do you really think a lot of people would be trying to emulate Nintendo Switch games on PC if the Switch games ran better than Xbox 360 games?
And now Ryujinx tried to kill Nintendo. And it failed.
No, they didn't try to kill Nintendo. They're pretty much the same thing as YUZU, except some games run better, some games run worse. I think a lot of people like Ryujinx over YUZU because it has better mod support, I've heard. I don't know, the only time I ever use Ryujinx is for New Super Mario Bros. U, because for some reason Luigi U crashes on YUZU for me, but not Ryujinx. Also, completely off topic, but why is this guy's Mario hat orange? Does he have, the off-brand Mario hat that he got at, the Kmart shop? It's not the Air Jordans, it's the Air Jadens type shit. I'm sorry, I had to bring it up. Someone brought it up in my stream when I first saw this video, and it kind of stuck with me.
This is basic pattern recognition, right?
It is pattern recognition now that you think about it. Nintendo constantly has a pattern of going after emulator sites instead of the actual sites giving away their games for fucking free.
This should be a complete debunking of the narrative among the PC master race. This idea that, they can just emulate any game that comes out with no repercussions, with no issues, with no problems.
Well, there's no narrative that we can just emulate games and get away with it with no repercussions. That is the reality. I've been emulating games since, I think, 7 years ago now on PC, and I have not once gotten into any trouble for it. And if you legally emulate those games, which a lot of people do, I know a lot of people like to pirate as well, but if you legally emulate those games, you legally cannot get in trouble for doing it. In fact, now that we're using the logic that emulation equals bad, Nintendo players have been emulating on Nintendo Switch Online for the past 7 years, and they have this narrative that they can just get away with it. Do you see how stupid that sounds?
Like, if they want to play the new Zelda game, like, oh, I can just pirate that.
Well, I mean, they can, considering Nintendo would rather take down one of the 500 different emulator sites rather than one of the 2 sites providing the games for free. And I'm not defending the sites offering these games for free. They are literally fucking over the developers of these games. However, the emulators did nothing wrong, and they do not deserve Nintendo's bullshit. Like, this is the same sort of logic as Sony seeing some guy in an alleyway give away some of their movies for free, so they go and smack down the DVD player that the people are using to play these movies on. You realize once you smack down Ryujinx and you celebrate for a day, everyone's just gonna move over to the next Switch emulator and use the site they've been using for the past 7 years, right? To get the games for free. Like, I genuinely don't get what you're trying to accomplish here. Go after the site giving away your goddamn games for free and literally committing a crime instead of going after the innocent emulator. Like, holy shit, dude.
Again, every time a new Nintendo game comes out, you know, someone tries to come out coping and seething that, like, well, I can play that on my PC.
Yeah, and they can play the games on the PC, and the reason why they can play the games on the PC is because Nintendo doesn't actually feel like doing anything about piracy sites.
This is not, it never has been true, right? Because there's a lot of technical issues involved.
Yeah, you mean technical issues that people can sort out with a couple hours of troubleshooting, then put up a tutorial on how to fix, and then other people can follow that tutorial and fix the problem for themselves? You mean like that?
You have to set things up, it takes effort.
You have to set things up. You mean like everything nowadays you have to set up? I mean, even your fucking Nintendo console you have to set up. And it takes effort. I've never seen such a clear admission of laziness, and I kind of respect it, to be honest. I kind of respect them for that.
You have to, like, invest in specific controllers.
Actually, no, it's the opposite. On PC, you can use whatever controller you want for an emulator, including a keyboard and mouse if you don't want a controller, whereas if you play on Nintendo, you have to go get their specific controller. Either this guy's the most misinformed person of all time, or he's purposely just spreading misinformation. It's one of the two.
And you have to get a hold of the games legally, right? Again, like, even like the most hardcore of like emulation shills will try to tell you that like they get these games legally, even though they don't. But
that's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
I mean, like the clip just said, like, how do you know? How do you know these people aren't getting the games legally? How do you know these people don't go out and buy the games and redump them? You don't. They could be, they could not be. Who the fuck knows? Who cares? Does everyone need to be like some sort of Karen about everything? Like, oh no, you better not be pirating that game. Oh no.
The cope for the longest time, when it comes to like, the dominance of PC gaming, is that everything was just available on PC, ready for you to download, and it was the premier gaming platform that can run everything with no issues.
I mean, that kind of is the case, though. I mean, provided your PC is powerful enough, of course. And the reason for that is because every single game is originally created on a PC. All a console is a modified PC, so of course all the games are going to be playable on a PC, provided you get access to those games.
And yet, in 2024, we have seen a number of instances of Nintendo coming after the modding scene, the fan game scene, and now the emulators, right?
Okay, first of all, why the fuck are you, as a Nintendo fan, defending Nintendo taking down fan games and mods? I'm not sure if you realize this, but by Nintendo taking down fan games and mods, you have less Nintendo content to enjoy. Well, it's technically not Nintendo, but it adds more replayability to Nintendo games. Things like Super Mario Sunburn, a Mario Sunshine mod. Things like Mario Eclipse. But here you are cheering that you have less replayability on your Nintendo games. And what has Nintendo done to stop emulation? Oh, they stopped like the average normie from pirating and emulating a game because it takes a little bit more effort nowadays? Like, what the fuck?
All of the major emulators that get any real traction, you know, things like YUZU and Ryujinx, they're being taken down left and right.
Yeah, they didn't seem to disappear off my computer, though. That's a funny fact. But another thing is, things like Suyu pop up every single time a Nintendo emulator is taken down, and it just continues the cycle. Nintendo takes down emulator, 3 more pop up. Nintendo takes down another emulator, 3 more pop up. Like, what are you really accomplishing here? Why not go after the actual fucking sites providing your games for free?
Desperately trying to keep themselves relevant, desperately trying to keep themselves in the mainstream eye, while avoiding the Nintendo ninjas trying to take them out at every opportunity, right? It just can't be done, right? It was a losing battle to begin with.
I mean, you're right, it is a losing battle for Nintendo because they'll spend all this time and money to take down an emulator and then 3 more are gonna pop up. And do you think people don't have archives of the YUZU, Ryujinx, or whatever files on their computer for when you take down the emulators that they're just gonna share with their friends? Like, be real here, dude.
Because emulation was never really legal.
Okay, I love this argument. So if emulation was never legal, then how come Nintendo sells you an emulator in Nintendo Switch Online? How come Steam games get sold to you that use emulators like DOSBox for Doom 2? How come the Xbox Series X allows you to emulate older Xbox and Xbox 360 games? Could it possibly be that there's nothing wrong with emulation, it's only a problem when you mix it with piracy? Is that the case? Spoiler alert, yes, that is the exact case. But this is some rules for thee and not for me type shit. Either emulation is okay or it's not okay. You don't get to pick and choose which companies are allowed to use emulation.
What was happening was that Nintendo didn't really see the point in going after like emulators for older platforms, but
okay, I would love for you to explain to me what the point is for Nintendo to go after like a DS emulator or something like that. You realize the DS isn't made anymore, so if someone pirates it, there's no damage done, and if someone goes out and actually buys a legal DS, they're not supporting you in any way because it's only helping the reseller. You know that, right? That's why it makes a little bit more sense when they go after Switch emulators. Don't get me wrong, I still think it's scummy as shit, but like, it is their current console on the market, so they might lose out on hardware sales for the Switch. I doubt it's going to be very much they're going to lose out on, but they might lose out on a little bit of hardware sales from the Switch if somebody uses Ryujinx. But like, there is zero fucking point to do it for older consoles. In fact, it's probably more harm than actual help for your company because you're just pissing people off at that point for no financial gain.
Now, you know, in the modern era, now that they're trying to like get away with pirating like games 2 weeks before they come out, yeah, Nintendo does have has justification in coming after these people.
Okay, you say something that I actually agree with. Holy shit, I cannot believe I'm agreeing with this guy. But yeah, Nintendo does have the right to go after people that are basically releasing the files for their games early. So why doesn't Nintendo go after those people? Why do they go after fucking emulators instead?
Right. These guys are actively trying to impact Nintendo's business, and they need to be taken out.
I don't know what people he's referring to here, either the people who release the games for free or the people who just pirate the games, but if he's talking about the second group of people, no, they just want the game for free, let's be honest. Here's a comparison. Do you think a thief, I know this isn't really theft to pirate, it's more like copyright infringement, but do you think a thief cares what happens to his local Walmart when he steals a pack of socks? No, he just wants free shit, and that's the same thing with people who pirate. They don't care if Nintendo does good, bad, or okay, they just want free games. As for the people providing people with pirated games, you have a point.
Again, people are downplaying this. They're ignoring the issue. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about what's inevitably going to happen, but
I'll tell you what's inevitably going to happen. Literally nothing. Even if Nintendo successfully takes down Ryujinx, do you think tomorrow Debunking is not going to pop up? I mean, that literally happened with YUZU. I mean, when they took YUZU down, Suyu popped up, and the name was actually rubbing the whole thing in Nintendo's face. This whole thing is something called the Hydra effect. Every time you chop off one of the Hydra's heads, 2 more pop up, and you've basically done nothing.
This is the future, right? Is that all of Nintendo's classic games are going to be available through the Nintendo Switch Online service.
Which, that subscription sucks. I'm sorry if you like it, dude, but there should be a way to actually go in and own the games. Like, not everything nowadays needs to be a fucking subscription. And Nintendo Switch Online doesn't even provide people with a lot of the games they want. We still don't have Wind Waker on it. People love that game and can't play it. Just because you ask for a company to provide something doesn't mean they're gonna do it. You think Nintendo is gonna listen to like one guy who wants a like niche game remastered? I mean, look at Bloodborne fans. How long have we been asking for a 60 FPS patch?
right? So instead of just like getting the subscription service and having access to everything like right there,
I don't know, last time I checked, the subscription service didn't offer me things like Wind Waker. Just because the subscription service has all the classic games that you're interested in doesn't mean it has all the games someone else might be interested in. This is a terrible take.
you should pirate the games on PC for really no reason, right? There's no benefit to it. There's no reason to do it.
That has to be the dumbest thing I ever heard. That's like saying there's no benefit to robbing a bank. Now, I'm not defending robbing a bank, obviously, but, like, I think we all know the benefit.
It's not a better experience in spite of what some people will tell you, right? Like, there is absolutely no reason to pirate a video game ever.
Then why do people do it? Because they're treated better than paying customers. If they pirate the game to play it on PC, it usually runs better on the emulator. They actually own the game and can't have it just, whipped out of their library. They can create backups, use mods, and do just so many more things with their game. I mean, it's like Valve said, piracy is almost always a service problem and not a pricing problem.
Right? All you have to do is just ask for the game to be released on Nintendo platforms.
Okay, so hold on 1 minute. Instead of going ahead and getting the game myself because Nintendo doesn't want to port it, I should sit and beg for Nintendo to port it, even though they might never listen to me. Dude, seriously, what kind of logic is this?
And a lot of other, like, more obscure, like, 90s platformers like that. And they're far from the only ones, right? Like, again, like, why exactly would I emulate Mortal Kombat 2 when I could just buy it through a re-release on Nintendo Switch eShop and then just start playing people online, right? Just having fun playing this old arcade game, right? Again, why are you not advocating for re-releases so you can like support these games?
Because the gaming industry has become way too reliant on re-releases, remasters, and remakes due to the fact that I don't know if developers really have the talent they used to have. Gaming, in my opinion, is very dry right now because half the games that everyone's like hyping up, they're all remakes. It's stuff we've already played before, and even Nintendo is guilty of this. Nintendo is a company I never ever thought would go down this road, but they are. I want to see something new out of the gaming industry. I'm tired of the gaming industry showing me the same shit I already played as a kid, just like with a new coat of paint on it that sometimes runs worse than the original.
The reality is, PC gamers are just coping, right? They're just seething, right? They have no real intention of supporting the gaming industry no matter what.
I mean, yeah, you're kinda right. I don't want to support the current state of the gaming industry because I'm not satisfied with it. I think it's in a shitty state right now and I want to see it get better, so what I'm gonna do is not support re-releases and remakes because then they're gonna keep making them.
And they will do everything in their power to just avoid addressing like the elephant in the room, right? The fact that they are losing.
Well, we're almost at the end of your video here. I'm gonna cut it off. The only thing I lost watching this video is my brain cells. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Basically, emulation is apparently dead because one emulator got taken out. Alright, peace.